Let's go. Let's go, baby. Another episode of Strange Happenings. This is a special report. UAP congressional hearings. Last week, we've had some time to digest, go through. I don't think we're late to the game at all on this. I mean, I know every podcast, everybody's covered this, but it's worth covering again, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's always fun to get Bub's take on just about anything, because I'm sure it'll get strange.
The cat is out of the bag.
Cat's out of the bag.
So to speak.
I'm your host, Mikey, and of course, as always, the bro host, Bub. And tonight we have the dynamic duo in master control.
Back
Stoner
in action.
And Disbro. What's happening, fellas?
There we go.
Wave to the camera, boys. There it is. Stoner, you didn't wave. There it is. Oh, man. Well,
nice.
Hey, everybody in the chat, everybody at home, welcome. Sess in the City, Flutz, Stoner's dad, anybody else that's out there. We appreciate you guys so very much. We're super stoked for this one. But we got a couple things to cover before we hop into it.
Yeah.
As always, you can find us at The Strange Road on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. The Facebook group, Strange Road Hitchhikers. Come check us out. Toss some links in there. Get some conversations going in there. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere where you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star rating. Share. If you guys like the show, hey, what's up, Necro? What's happening, dude? And then YouTube, like this video, please. Subscribe if you're not already. Hit that notification bell and share this if you like what we're doing.
We're trying to grow the tribe. Yeah, we're trying to spread the word.
The Vibe Tribe.
Trying to cultivate it.
The Vibe Tribe.
We appreciate any help.
That's right. Strange shirts. There you go, Necro. You hit it on the head. Hello, Gregory Polverini, aka Michael. What's up? So, guys, if you've noticed, we've got some different clothing on that you might not have seen. But we've been working super hard the last few weeks on finalizing the merch portal.
I'm trying to get there.
These are some proofs that we had ordered. We ordered a whole bunch of shirts, and we're trying them on, feeling the material, making sure they're right. Logo's got to maybe be a little bit smaller. Let's push it over this way.
I'd say the one that I have, I love it. I think it's super, super close. I love the shirt material as well. I mean,
maybe logo a little
nice.
Smaller.
We're doing some R&D for sure.
Yep. But we got some different tiers of T-shirts, too. We have some kind of like entry level and then a little bit more designed work that's T-shirt qualities up a little bit more. We've got hoodie, hat.
Yeah.
Potentially, we might need to find a new hat supplier because apparently it came from Netherlands. It's kind of weird. Why wouldn't? Yeah, it's a lot of shipping across the pond just for a trucker hat. But now,
when they say blue, I'm colorblind. Which blue? Which blue are we talking?
I think he's talking about that one.
Blue?
This tie-dye, I would say.
I would still... Okay, I see.
That's a blue shirt.
This is a lot of blue.
Tie-dye blue shirt.
I didn't know that I would like blue this much. It's kind of calming.
You look good in blue. It matches your eyes, bub.
I kind of feel like I'm in the ocean. Oh, man. Now I really do look like the Quiznos hat rack.
Oh, man. Thank you, Colleen. Welcome. Bored Not to Run. What's happening? We appreciate all the love, guys.
Thank you all.
And so we have... a pretty cool thing that happened this week was a listener of the show, a supporter of the show named Heath Johnson emailed us, hit us up.
Yeah.
And he has a kidney condition, and he's going to have to have at least one transplant, but he's got a GoFundMe account. And his goal is to get to every ancient site in Ohio and the Midwest. He's trying to raise money for this trip to tap into some healing energy at ancient sites.
Let's make it happen.
Trying to. So he reached out to us. We're helping kind of promote that GoFundMe link. It's in the description. It's in the link tree. We posted it in Instagram. We posted it in Facebook, in the group. We posted it in Jeffrey Wilson's group.
Good.
Friends of the Serpent Mound. We posted it in Tom and Terry's group, Serpent Mound Star Knowledge. And we're just trying to spread the word about Heath's illness and his incredible trip that we got to make happen, dude.
Needs to get to the
and
Serpent
we'll
Mound.
have to connect. Maybe we meet with him at Serpent Mound and hang out to send him off on his journey.
That'd be cool.
So
see what his entire journey is actually as well. What he's got planned. That'd be cool.
Exactly. So Heath Johnson, hey, we wish you the best of luck, dude. We're gonna try our best to meet your goal. And like I said, guys, go check out that link. It's all over the place. You'll be able to find it. And is there anything else I was missing? We talked about the merch portal.
When's the last time? I don't know. We've been doing a lot, but I don't know the last time we were in front of people? Because we've been doing a lot, but I don't know the last time we were on camera.
2 weeks ago.
It's been that long.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you guys haven't noticed, we're live streaming Strange Happenings every other week for now.
Yeah.
We're probably going to try to finish the year out, get some of these projects off the plate, then potentially we'll come back with a weekly Strange Happenings again. They're an hour.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It just got a bit overwhelming with doing 2 episodes a week. So, we were out at Serpent Mound, we talked to some people, and apparently we were putting out a ton and no one could keep up with this. So we're trying to find a balance, but I think we're eventually going to get back to at least 2 episodes every other week.
Yeah.
But we're alternating on interview episodes every Monday morning at 1 a.m. The podcast platforms get released.
Yeah.
And then we have our YouTube premiere for that episode at 9 p.m. on Monday night.
Yeah.
And so that's every other week. And then in between those are Strange Happenings live streams on Wednesday.
Yep.
So we're getting on this schedule. Hopefully we've been promoting it. If not, yell at us. Tell us what we're doing wrong.
We just bagged quite a few interviews to get ready.
Yeah. We've been
We're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
We're ready to go. It's just I didn't know the last time we were in front of people. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know what we've been saying into the cameras that's actually hit ears yet. So there's been a lot of stuff we've been talking about, but
right.
Yeah,
so
excited for it.
Coming up, we have Michael Strayer from Moth Boys podcast. We have Jeff Ferran from Strangeology, content creator, digital artist, entrepreneur extraordinaire. And then we have Bill Homan from the Mitchell Hedges Crystal Skull.
That was a fun one.
We have Daryl Nichols, who is a speaker, author, and all around, he fights against racism and has worked in the NAACP.
He was a great conversationist.
Tobias Whalen from Singular Fortean. We cover a lot of his articles on Strange Happenings. So Tobias and his wife Emily. Tobias came on. We met him at Frogman Fest.
Yep.
What was the other one?
We had Zeus
Tapato. We had our first psychedelic researcher on.
That one's cool.
All those are coming, guys. So just a heads up. There's some. This is a
lot of good stuff coming down the pipe. So just get ready.
Of killer
it's
episodes.
It's gonna be a fire hose effect. Mm-hmm. It is. It's drinking from the fire hose because every one of those shows was just like by the time we were done, I was like, doing 2 in one day. I was like, I can't think after that one. So.
A lot. Well, we're packing
I'm
it
just
in,
excited.
So we're giving ourselves some breathing room so we can get some of this other stuff off the plate and get an all around, get this ecosystem built and rocking. But I think we should hop into it. This is
ready to rock.
Unprecedented shit, dude.
You're not lying.
It really hasn't hit any. People are now finally like last weekend. Hey, have you heard about this UFO thing? Like the government's actually talking about that. Have you heard anything about that? I'm like, yeah, just a little. We've only been covering it for 6 months leading up to this point.
What's the old analogy? The tallest person knows when it rains first.
All asking me and hitting me up about, hey, what does this all mean? So you got people really, really interested finally, because we were complaining that this hasn't gotten any coverage. The last how many things that have happened.
Didn't matter what happened.
Declassified Aaro documents.
Yeah.
The videos. The New York Times article, which released on, it was basically on Thanksgiving. Nobody read it. Nobody cared. They released it when everybody has something going on. Right. So without further ado, let's hop into it. We're gonna basically the format of this show. We're gonna watch back the hearing and just really pull out. We're trying to do our best with pulling out stuff that we haven't talked about as much.
Yeah.
Or things that are more new and groundbreaking. I think we've got some good stuff here. Let's get it rolling. Let's play that first clip.
I want to point out in 1966, President Gerald Ford claimed to have seen a UFO, and in 1969 in Georgia, Jimmy Carter claimed to have seen a UFO. So this has led Congress to establish entities to examine UAPs. The National Defense Authorization Act of 2022 established the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, to conduct or to coordinate efforts across the Department of Defense and other federal agencies to detect, identify, and investigate UAPs. However, AARO's budget remains classified, prohibiting meaningful oversight from Congress. In addition to AARO's efforts,
that's good. we've covered Aaro. We in the beginning, when they came out with, Aaro's talking. Well, we haven't found any evidence. We're like, oh, that's horseshit. They're just some government front office that's going to supposedly take these reports and then tell us that there's nothing there. And that's what Grusch is saying. Aaro is a joke. We'll get into that. But Grusch is essentially whistleblowing on Aaro. Mm-hmm. Not just I guess you could call it the military intelligence complex, which he's whistleblowing on them as well, and the industrial complex. But up front, the Aaro head of that is saying that there's no evidence, and Grusch is calling bullshit. That's the big part of what I don't think people really understand that. Let's go on to the next clip because we'll get more clarity on that down the road here. But
those statements into the record, Mr. Chairman.
Without objection.
Also would like to enter in, I understand now that this is unclassified and it's public record, but as we all know, that's sometimes difficult for the public to get a hold of. A report, Defense Intelligence reference documents, advanced space propulsion based on vacuum, space-time metric engineering, some light reading for some of our members.
Without objection.
Thank you. Mr. Knapp wrote, since 1969, the position of our military has been that UFOs pose no threat to national security and are not worthy of further study. I'd say that's the biggest understatement of the decade.
Shout out to George
He
Knapp,
also goes on to talk about the
OG.
dismissive attitude. It's at odds with what was revealed in documents, reports, and internal memos. And Mr. Corbell says, as he writes these words, the UFO is emerging as a major topic of global importance.
finally,
I can
Jesus.
state that as a fact. Out there, I met a fellow who came in here all the way from Denmark to be here for this meeting. So this is huge. This is worldwide. I think we suspect what's going on, but I'd also like to thank the members of Congress who have supported our efforts to make this hearing.
That's good, Stone. Yeah, very, very little shout out to George Knapp. So George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell were both at this hearing. Jeremy was invited because of, if you listen to him on podcasts, Jeremy Corbell's been calling this out. He's like, I'm in direct contact with A lot of people have been skeptical about what Jeremy Corbell said.
He's been pushing the needle quite hard.
He pushes it hard.
Yeah.
And he's applying pressure on the government. He's been basically talking to Grusch. This is the whistleblower that Jeremy Corbell's been talking about.
You think?
Yes.
You think?
And there's more of them.
You think?
Corbell's been talking about this for a year and a half. Go back and watch the last Joe Rogan experience with George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell. They talk about all these people that they're talking to that are sending these videos that no one's ever seen, that are completely still they're working on getting them declassified, talking about whistleblowers. So shout out to Corbell and George Knapp because they've been at the tip of the spear as independent filmmakers, journalists. As a team, they make a great team. And I was very skeptical of Jeremy Corbell because he's just such an amped up dude. You're like, is this guy like trying to get famous? Is he? No, he's just so passionate and he is just fueled up by getting this work done.
I honestly believe if George Knapp is giving you the kind of green light, because George Knapp is in it for the right reasons, right? Like George's been around a long time. Bob Lazar's onto the scene. Like George is known, right?
The Skinwalker Ranch story.
But I'm saying he's not rolling around in like, a Ferrari or something. Maybe he does. I don't think so. But I think George is still a pretty grounded guy. But like Jeremy partnering up with George and then getting the Bob documentary they put on it. Like there's been a lot of groundwork to kind of like bring the story back.
Yep.
Bring all this back to the surface. And now if what you're saying with if Grusch is one of his guys and there's more like it.
I think they've been talking to Grusch.
Man, I hope so. I hope it's just a giant wrecking ball. Just steamrolling with disclosure.
Let's steamroll it. Let's get that wrecking ball out. Tear it all down.
Wreck it, Ralph.
Tear all the walls down. Let's see. Like I said, we want to see the bodies.
I just want to know if we're just in Plato's cave. Like, are we just in this fictitious reality where we've been made to think that what's going on is real? And like,
what's up is down. What's down is up.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. What my statement was.
Yeah.
Jetpacks and what have you.
Yep.
That was hilarious. That was so funny.
But yeah, we can hit that next clip as well.
I'd like to introduce our witnesses. Our first witness is Lieutenant Ryan Graves.
Letting everybody know
He's
who's
the
here.
Executive Director of Americans for Safe Aerospace. Lieutenant Graves is also a former U.S. Navy F-18 pilot with his own UAP experience. The next witness, David Grusch, is a former senior intelligence officer with the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency and was a senior technical advisor for UAP issues. And finally, retired Navy Commander David Fravor, squadron leader who worked as a naval aviator for 18 years. Mr. Fravor has his own UAP experience, known as the TikTok event. I look forward to hearing from all three of you today. Pursuant to Committee Rule 9G, the witnesses will please stand and raise their right.
We can kill that thing. Yeah, so they're just setting up. We weren't really sure who was going to be. It makes sense that it's Graves, Fravor, and Grusch.
I didn't know about Graves. I didn't know. There's a lot that happened, so I didn't catch.
Yeah,
how his came about.
You've never seen Ryan Graves' story? No. Oh, we should have added more clips in then.
It's okay. That's why I cut him out earlier, because when you're like, we already know these guys' story, I was like, I don't really know all their stories.
Well, we have some Ryan Graves stuff.
It's all good.
The juicy stuff where he basically describes the crap that they filmed.
Yeah. We'll get to that.
Yep.
So we've got a pretty good setup of all of these
characters,
whistleblowers and testifiers.
But the thing is like Ryan Graves and David Fravor didn't have any problems coming out with their story. They weren't pressured to keep quiet. Once it was basically never Fravor's case, it wasn't really even classified. So it just took a whole lot of effort to get the proper channels to actually get it out. But there was no one stonewalling him or Ryan Graves for that matter. Grusch is the one that's been attacked relentlessly by these oppositions in the intelligence community and the military industrial complex to shut his goddamn mouth. Fravor and Ryan Graves they go through that. It's worth watching this whole thing.
Yeah.
But they're like, hey, man, you need to talk to him about that because we haven't experienced these ridiculous things. He talks about his wife. Grusch does. But, we'll get to some of that stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, let's hit the next one.
I would like to say that the Tic Tac object we engaged in 2004 was far superior to anything that we had on time, have today, or are looking to develop in the next 10 years. If we in fact have programs that possess this technology, it needs to have oversight from those people that the citizens of this great country elected in office to represent what is best for the United States and best for the citizens. I thank you for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I know it's very difficult for all of you, all you've done in the past
There you go.
try to illuminate this. That's
just, that's a little bit of background on David Fravors. Yeah, he's the Tic Tac UFO and transmedium craft that they experienced and so forth. This has been well documented. We're not spending a whole lot of time on Ryan Graves and especially David Fravor because, that guy's been talking. He's been out there on podcasts for 3 years.
He's been on the circuit.
He was on Concrete, I think. He was on Rogan. He was on
he's made
every
the rounds.
News channel that you can think of. News Nation's had him on. So you can go and check out his story. There's a lot out there.
Yeah. It's well documented at this point. It's pretty open and in the public.
Right.
Lots of video even.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and we can hit that next one, Stoner. Thank you.
For some questions, I'm going to start with Mr. Graves. Are pilots that you interact with as part of your organization, do you feel adequately trained and briefed on how to handle encounters with UAPs?
No. Right now, military witnesses to UAP have limited options for reporting UAP. But more concerning is that commercial aviation sector has not adapted to the lessons that the military has implemented. The military and Department of Defense has stated that UAP represent a critical aviation safety risk. We have not seen that same language being used in the commercial markets. They are not acknowledging this risk.
Okay. What steps do you think you have to be taken to improve a pilot's UAP reporting, be it military or commercial?
Right now, we need a system where pilots can report without fear of losing their jobs.
Boom.
There is a fear that the stigma.
That's it. Yeah.
What do we need to do to improve it? You got to make it so people don't think they're going to get fired
gonna
for saying they
lose their
saw something.
career. And also, a little
Jesus.
bit later, they talk about the commercial pilots.
Well,
and
not
some of the
just their
things-
job, their career.
Yeah, and the commercial
That's
guys,
it.
you really feel bad for because at least the military is insulated a little bit. But if you work for, the airlines, you're just a private citizen. You have no recourse. What are you going to do? You're going to go get some whistleblower protection? No, you're a private citizen.
gone.
You're just fired, dude. Guess what? Your pension, gone.
You're bad
Your
for-
benefits, gone.
You're bad for business. You're spooking the customer.
And dude, they see so much stuff. They will not talk about it. For years, these pilots have kept quiet because of fear of ridicule and losing their position, their job. So I really think the commercial airline pilots, we're going to get so much information from them.
That starts to happen.
Right.
Jeez.
They're up in the sky all the time.
That's
So,
wild. That's
yeah,
really
hold
wild.
on. We're going to
would-
stay tuned for that.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah, let's hit that next one. It's so funny, dude.
Observations. Do you believe UAPs pose a potential threat to our national security?
Yes, and here's why. The technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had, and you could put that anywhere. If you had one, you captured one, you reverse engineered it, you got it to work, you're talking something that can go into space, go someplace, drop down in a matter of seconds, do whatever it wants, and leave, and there's nothing we can do about it. Nothing.
Okay. Either the other. You two?
Well, I would also like
okay.
to add, from a commercial aviation and military aviation perspective, we deal with uncertainty in our operating space as a matter of our professional actions. Identifying friend from foe is very important to us.
Oh, you can keep going, Kyle. I was just agreeing.
So when we have unidentified targets and we continue to ignore those due to a stigma or a fear of what it could be, that's an opening that our adversaries can take advantage of.
What steps should be taken to better understand and respond to UAP encounters in the interest of national security?
There needs to be a location where this information is centralized for processing, and there needs to be a two-way communication loop so the operators on the front end have a feedback and can get best practices on how to process information, what to do, and to ensure that their reporting is being listened to. Right now,
okay.
there is not a lot of back and forth.
Mr. Grusch, in your complaint to the Intelligence Community Inspector General, you claim that you believe information is being hidden. What kind of information do you think was hidden, and do you think it should remain hidden?
Yes, I can speak to that very briefly in an unclassified manner. As you know, the preponderance of my complaint was classified to the intelligence communities. Both material acquisition and exploitation activity, also baselining the UAPs but not sharing it with intelligence professionals that are actually doing step briefs to pilots, that kind of information. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very
That's
much.
good.
Now we'll
Good
go
for
to
that
Mr.
one. Thanks,
Garcia.
Stoner. Also, I want to shout out Agenda Free TV. This is the live stream that we just so happened to tune into. There was a lot of different groups and channels live streaming, but I thought they did a good pre-coverage.
Yeah.
The link is in the description, and then they do a whole like 2 hours afterwards too. But shout out to them. Thank you for covering that Agenda Free TV. I don't know. Any thoughts about that? I mean, some of these are just, we're kind of setting the stage. We've covered some of this stuff. But
Some of the reasons and rationale why they say what they're saying, yeah, it makes a lot of sense of like, why do we need to establish this? Or what would you say we need to establish this for? Well, if we can't report it, how do people know what the hell they're seeing when they're flying up there? How do we know if we're seeing a friendly,
it's
a foe?
Yeah.
It's an exploitation avenue as well. Like one of the big things is like we assume that they're non-threatening if there are UFO. I'm not saying they are threatening. We're just saying we can't assume one way or the other. But like if you're being probed, penetrated, kind of like prodded, tested, like, and we're going, nope, not happening. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
Like, no, again, like when I see ants in my house, now they're in my house. When they're outside of my house, they might be curious about my
you're
house.
cool
But
with
now
it.
you're in my house, and now I've got a problem
You
with
gotta
the
go.
infestation of ants. Yeah, like I can't have that.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of those, you got to face reality. So I think maybe, if anything, that's one of the biggest things we're doing if we can get to this point. And not that we didn't want to, but it's been, again, like not really advertised, talked about. You get ostracized, criticized, ridiculed.
Yeah.
And it's happening to these guys.
Yeah.
It's still happening to them, even though they've got all the receipts and could show you and probably talk to you about it till you're blue in the face. But people are like, yeah, I just don't believe them.
Yeah.
That's great. That's cool. I don't say I fully believe them yet either. Like,
yeah. And for Grusch, this is like
need information.
This is the fifth step almost in his process. Over the last year and a half, originally Grusch whistle blew to the committees within the intelligence, not Congress. He did this in a private meetings in these skiffs, which will explain what a skiff is. But he was basically had all these complaints laid out from a couple different committees, from what I understand. So he is on record before this ever happened with various organizations within the intelligence community, the military, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
And so those committee hearings are all classified. We're not going to hear anything that Grusch submitted. As we go forward, you'll actually see, you'll hear Grusch explain to certain questions that I can't talk about it here in public. I've already disclosed this to the committee, but we can get into a skiff and I can explain what that is. Exactly the details of what you're asking. But so many questions.
You need access to those facilities. Like you have to have security to get into those facilities, those rooms, those. Let's
bring up the skiff, just that one note, Stoner, so I can, and it'll get brought up a couple times, but.
Just so you know what the acronym means.
Right. So a skiff is a sensitive compartmented information facility. This is in the United States military, national security, defense, and intelligence parlance, is an enclosed area within a building that is used to process sensitive, compartmented information, types of classified information. So I saw one photo where on Wikipedia where Donald Trump was in a skiff and they had one photo that was taken. But there's no electronics. You're not allowed to have your cell phone in there. It's soundproof. There's no recording devices in there, so you couldn't accidentally.
It's a big box.
It's a tight box.
Yeah.
Where nothing's coming in or being transmitted out.
Yeah.
And so you'll hear that as we go along through here. But yeah, I think we're ready for that next clip, Mr. Stoner.
Suggestion of UAPs.
Absolutely, based on interviewing over 40 witnesses over 4 years.
And where?
I know the exact locations, and those locations were provided to the Inspector General and some of which to the intelligence committees. I actually had the people with the firsthand knowledge provide a protected disclosure to the Inspector General.
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, I would just say that I think that these questions are important questions, and I look forward to being involved in the process to get those answered. I know there'll be a lot of questions from other committee members, so I yield back.
Thank you. We'll go to Mr.
I think we're good
Richardson.
on that. I think what he was saying, I think it got cut off a little bit from the point that we'd marked, but I think that was one of your clips.
I missed the intro of the question, but he was asking Grusch, how does he know all this?
Yeah.
Who told you this? Where is that? Where are these UFOs located? And that's what you're saying. Like Grusch is like, I can't just tell you.
Yeah, not in front of
like
16,000 people.
But they do it
live.
over and over in this hearing, which they're like, can you tell us where the bot? Like, no, but like, what they're doing though, even asking the questions, is were there
getting
biologics?
it on the record.
That's what you see. Like, you see kind of like the evolution of the hearing where people like, and again, they probably know better than I do. Maybe it's just I'm a late bloomer to it, but like understanding like, oh, you have to say it. It's almost like the vampire can't come into your house without you inviting him in. Like you have to invite him in your house, right? Like, so he can't tell you about the alien bodies unless you say, were there alien bodies? Like all they're doing is testifying back to your questions. So like, you got to ask the right questions and pull the right questions out of them. And I thought that's why there were some really interesting ones that occurred throughout.
They were pretty good. I mean, I was surprised that
they were going
some
hard.
of these guys have been involved, but some of these folks in Congress have been in meetings, have had their constituents and people reaching out to them. There's a great instance later on down the road where we'll have a clip of that, where you have people reaching out to within their states going, hey, this happened.
Right.
What are you going to do about it? And they're like, I don't know.
It's a ripple effect.
What's happening here? I need to get more information. So it's cool to watch from state to state. And again, put the politics aside, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat. I don't care about
politics.
I don't care.
I just want to know about the aliens and UFOs.
This is the only bipartisan thing our government has done in the last 6 to 8 years, dude.
I was about to say
Everybody
6 to 8
agrees
decades.
that this is important and they have to work together. That blows my mind. There's actually working together. Aliens are bringing us together, bud.
I'm telling you.
You know, even if it's maybe fear. I mean, you know.
Project Blue Book.
But hey,
Maybe.
however it happens, you know, across the aisles, people got to start communicating. We do too. What did Daryl say? The most dangerous thing is to keep silent. A quote from Martin Luther King Jr. was, you know, that's the most dangerous thing is to not speak the truth and to stay silent and not speak up if you're in a position of power.
Yep.
But yeah, let's hit that next clip.
Some of the behaviors that we saw in a working area, we would see these objects being at 0.0 Mach, that's 0 airspeed, over certain pieces of the ground. So what that means, just like a river, if you throw a bobber in, it's going to float downstream. These objects were staying completely stationary in Category 4 hurricane winds. These same objects would then accelerate to supersonic speeds, 1.1, 1.2 Mach, and they would do so in very erratic and quick behaviors that I don't have an explanation for.
Okay. Have you spoken to commercial and military pilots that have seen these off of our East Coast?
I have.
Okay. Mr. Favor, I noticed that in the Tic Tac video, it's Tic Tac like the candy, not TikTok like the Chinese Communist app.
That's correct.
Yes, sir. I just want to make that because my daughter corrected me on that and called me a boomer and said, "Hey, boomer," and I said, "No, baby, it's Tic Tac like the candy. You're gonna have to just look it up."
Got it. I just wanted. I wanted that to roll. He called me a boomer. You are a boomer. Oh man, maybe he's a little younger than a boomer, but whatever. Oh, dude, we got to have a little bit of comedy.
What was his daughter trying to say that?
She was trying to correct him. Dad, it's TikTok.
She was saying it was TikTok, and he's like, no, it's Tic Tac.
Tic Tac.
Yeah.
UFO. But earlier he did say TikTok.
No, he didn't.
Oh yeah, you're right.
The other
Burchett.
gentleman.
Yeah.
It wasn't Burchett. It was whoever the guy is that's running the hearing. I can't remember his name.
Gates.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it. Yeah,
That
he
was good stuff.
said TikTok in the beginning. Not Burchett, but yeah. I like how he called himself a boomer. That was pretty funny.
Boomer.
I do like self-deprecating humor.
All right, let's hit that next one.
Any retaliation or reprisals for any of your testimony or anything?
Oh, here we go.
On these lines?
Yeah, I have to be careful what I say in detail because there is an open whistleblower reprisal investigation on my behalf, and I don't want to compromise that investigation by providing anything that may help provide somebody information. But it was very brutal and very unfortunate, some of the tactics they used to hurt me both professionally and personally, to be quite frank. Yeah.
It's very unfortunate, as they say, when you're over the target, that's when they do the most firing at you. Do you have any personal knowledge of people who have been harmed or injured in efforts to cover up or conceal these extraterrestrial technology?
Yes. Personally.
Have anyone been murdered that you would that you know of or have heard of, I guess?
I have to be careful asking that question. I directed people with that knowledge to the appropriate authorities.
Maybe in a, if we could get in a confidential area, SCIF, we could talk about that. But unfortunately, we were denied access to the SCIF.
Right.
And that's very unfortunate in this scenario.
All right, that's good on that one. Yeah, very common. This is not the first time that they bring up a totally different congresswoman actually, talks about getting denied access to SCIFs.
Yeah.
Multiple times as well. So this is a common thing.
So he's asking him, were people murdered?
Dude, this is like...
And he's like, I'd have to tell you about who the investigators or the lead... like...
That means yes.
He
didn't say yes.
It means yes.
But
we all know what that means.
Said yes with his body language.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, it gets better.
As this story keeps going, Mike's hair just keeps going up a little further.
Yeah, dude.
It's like Tommy Boy, he's getting more.
I'm getting worked up. All right, we can hit that next one.
That's so funny.
common characteristics to the UAPs that have been cited by different pilots, and can you describe what the convergence of descriptions is?
Certainly. We were primarily seeing dark gray or black cubes inside of a clear sphere.
I'm sorry, dark gray or black cubes?
Yes, inside of a clear sphere.
Pause
where
that for a second for
apex or
me.
Tips of the
I put this one in there for you.
Do you know why that makes me kind of freak out a little bit? Jessica.
Yeah.
The cryptid hunter stuff. The whole
Black
like
Cube. And
right.
Tripoli, Tinfoil Hat had a guy on that talked about like the conspiracy of the Black Cube Society, the Black Cube of Saturn. You go to Mecca or one of the places of the Islam
I think
faith.
it's Mecca.
It's that giant black cube that they all walk around and praise.
There's a meteorite
and all
in
that.
it, right?
There's a lot of weird things with the black cubes already. But yeah, Jessica from the Cryptid Hunters talked about.
I forgot about that
cube
in the hearing itself, and then I was like, "Is that real?" Like, and then I'm thinking, not Flight of the Navigator, but the Explorers, the bubble they put around their ship, and then they go to outer space. Like, maybe that's we always wonder, how do these things move? How do they do this transmedium kind of movement? How do they go at these speeds? How do you not
and
turn to jelly, liquefy
cube,
inside?
First of all, a cube is not aerodynamic.
No,
at all.
No.
Like, why would the shape now the triangular crafts and the saucers?
Tell that to all the designers of the
tic-tac.
60s cars. I mean, they were blocks, 50s and 60s. But but that's why if you take, say, even that coffee table in front of us, I mean, you put this bubble around it, and now that bubble is a sphere.
He said the translucent
right.
orb around it. Yeah,
that is actually a very good design. That is very stable.
Yep.
It's very structurally sound, and it's also.
But maybe the cube is just the machine to create that temporal bubble around it. Like,
I think it's just the transport.
It holds the people, but it's
It'd be like right now if we could put a big bubble around Brozone and just transport all of Brozone around. We just take this whole rectangle.
We're coming to your town.
We just take
town near you.
We'll just take this whole rectangle and put a big bubble around it. Yeah, and it will take off in the Brozone. The spaceship
Interdimensional Brozone.
That's what I think is going on.
knows all about that.
I think. There's Cess in the City on the Missing 411. The UFO, one of the hunter talked about this translucent cube. Really?
Yeah.
Was that in that too?
That's the new UFO one you haven't seen yet.
Shit.
I bought it on Amazon for you guys.
Shit.
Yeah, you got to watch that, bro.
I need to watch that.
Yeah. You're right, Cess in the City. That was a very, very interesting part of that documentary. I didn't even think about that, so thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, and Necro's talking about a drone on the dark side of the moon from China that discovered a black cube-looking structure months ago, but was so far away and out of it, nothing ever. The dark side of the moon's got some stuff going on.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got some. From what they say, from when apparently we went there. What's up?
Hey, Tim, what's going on? Tim, the Bigfoot influencer, is in the house. What's happening, dude?
Lots of UAP talk.
Yeah.
Jeez, 'em.
I think we can roll that next one.
Next clip.
Stoner.
Let's see what we get here. Oh.
On the 19th of April, Dr. Kirkpatrick, head of Aaro, had said that he did not find any evidence of UAPs. You also stated that you had, in your interview, that you had briefed him on information that you were uncovering, but that he did not follow up with you. Were the items that you divulged to him pertinent to national security?
Yes, him and I had a classified conversation in April 2022 before he took over Aaro in July 2022, and I provided him some concerns I had.
Do you know why he might not have followed up with you?
Unfortunately, I cannot read his mind. I wish he did. I was happy to give sage counsel to him on where to look when he took the helm of Aaro.
Okay, and then my last question for you before I move to Mr. Graves is you received prior approval from the Defense Department to speak on certain issues, correct?
Correct, through DOPSR, DoD Pre-Publication and Security Review, and I just want to remind the public, they're just looking from a security perspective. These are my own personal views and opinions, not the department's.
Okay, I'm asking that, though, mainly because I think that there are many people that would like to discredit you. So it does bring a certain amount of credibility to your testimony.
I'm required by law to do that as a former intelligence officer, or I go to jail for revealing classified information.
Yeah, we don't want you to go to jail.
Grusch is by the book. Yeah, thanks, Kyle. Grusch is by the book. He's done everything right. It really reminds me of the path that Edward Snowden took, besides just moving completely to Russia.
Same thing.
But he was very calculated in the way he came out with his information with Glenn Greenwald. Grusch is taking all the proper steps to make sure he doesn't bone himself.
Yeah, you kind of want to be careful if you're putting
He's
your
a
neck
smart
out on
dude.
the, chopping block.
He's a smart guy.
He's not. He doesn't come off like an idiot. to me, I'll tell
Tombs,
you that
Backyard
much.
TV, welcome. Good day, good day. Yes, we are bum-fuzzled as well. Backyard TV.
I like that.
That's a great word.
Bumfuzzled.
We need to get a bum-fuzzled t-shirt made up for the merch portal. We'll split it with you, Backyard TV. All right, Kyle, we can hit that next one.
With the FAA, to your understanding, pilots that are seeing this, commercial airline pilots, are they receiving cease and desist letters from corporations for coming forward with information in regards to safety for potential airline passengers?
I have been made privy to conversations with commercial aviators who have received cease and desist orders.
So the American public should know that corporations are putting their own reputations on the basic, not the line, but ahead of the safety of the American people. And I think, would you agree with that statement?
It appears so.
Okay. And I guess this would be my last, I'm out of time. I yield.
Yeah.
I'll be.
Yeah, that one's.
Oh my God, how bad of a feeling is that? Mm-hmm. It's bad enough when you're like trying to fit it all into like a voicemail of like, I just need to tell
She's
you
like,
this. I just want to ask you one more question.
Oh, I'm out of time.
God, that would suck.
Hey, that UFO chick.
I was about to say, real quick, thanks for stopping out. I
Yeah.
don't know if I've ever seen her pop in before. I hit her up
welcome.
on Twitter sometimes. She's very sharp on the UFO community. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think she's across the pond too. So it's a weird time zone right now.
Well, we should have you on the show, that UFO chick, if you're open to it.
With all that's going on right now, yeah, like help blow
absolutely.
our minds with all of the UFO topics that are going on.
It's hard to keep up with.
I feel like one of the things that's really interesting too, again, is like they tried to get to him. They tried to talk to him before, Grusch specifically. They tried to get to him, talk to him. They wouldn't clear him for a skiff for having that contact with him prior to, like Luna and I think Burchett. So when they're in this here, they're asking him the questions they probably wanted to ask if they could have gotten into that pre-interview, that debrief. So I don't think they're thinking about it sometimes when he's like, I really can't.
But now the pressure's on to allow them into the skiff before they're all getting denied.
Yeah.
You put everybody on blast.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, hey, yeah.
But
welcome,
they're doing it.
Come on into the skiff.
But they're doing it on record
have a
too, to
chat.
like have
That's
that
right,
into
yep.
the actual, dialogue and like, nope, we can go back and this is actually in the congressional record.
Right.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, it's wild stuff.
What else do we got?
Let's keep
Category 4, hurricane wind, standing still, like no problem.
Mach 0.
Yeah, we've got
What's that?
we got stuff that can do that, I'm sure.
As a result of your previous government work, have you met with people with direct knowledge or have direct knowledge yourself of non-human origin craft?
Yes, I personally interviewed those individuals.
Mr. Grusch, as a result of your previous government work, have you met with people with direct knowledge or have direct knowledge yourself about ATs, advanced technologies that the U.S. government has?
Based on conventional advanced tech, I was briefed to the preponderance of the Defense Department's both space and aerospace compartmented programs, yeah.
Do you have knowledge or do you have reason to believe that there are programs in the advanced tech space that are unsanctioned?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
Okay.
boy.
And when you say that they're above congressional oversight, what do you mean?
Complicated question. So there's, some, I would call it abuse here. So congressional oversight of conventional special access programs. So I'll use Title 10, so DOD as an example, right? So 10 U.S. Code Section 119 discusses congressional oversight of SAPs, discusses the DepSecDef's ability to waive congressional reporting. However, the Gang of Eight is at least supposed to be notified if a waived or waive bigoted unacknowledged SAP is created, and that's public law.
Well, so that how does, I don't want to cut you off, but how does a program like that get funded?
I will give you generalities. I can get very specific in a closed session.
Can we just pause that real quick? Can we pause?
Misappropriation
This
of
is
funds.
the most damning shit.
But
in a lot of my the sections that I chose
I remember watching
are
this.
about these things.
How does
Where
it-
did the money go?
Where does it come from? How does
Black budgets.
That's the interesting part, okay? That's the stuff we've known Or we've heard talk about
the
for
Pentagon
years
lost
and years
billions
and years.
this year. We don't know where
But then nobody
$1 billion
cares about.
went.
But nobody cares. It's the government and trillions. It's all
It's
funny.
our money.
But again,
it's our taxpayer money.
But here's the thing about it. It's
People
funny
look at
numbers.
it as it's the government's money. No, it's your money. It's our money.
But it is fictitious numbers to you and I.
They print it.
We don't know what
The
$1
Federal
billion
Reserve just
is.
goes,
I don't know what
bing.
$1 trillion are, right? Like it's a ton of numbers. But what I'm saying is that's how you can nobody believes in UFOs in the first place. So, you're all crazy. B, it's the defense. We need to defend our country. We can't tell you what we're doing with it. If you knew that, then we could be we'd be at compromise because then our enemies might know it. So you can't know what we're doing.
Right.
It's this black box. Pour this money in here.
Yeah.
How does it get funded? How difficult is it?
Well,
how difficult is it to just, how hard has it been to really keep this a secret? Not very hard. Intimidation, ruin careers.
it's the same playbook they've
wipe
been using.
people off the history books.
Do you know who they used, who actually really invented the modern day intimidation and ruining your career was the Bronfman family, the liquor barons.
Oh.
They were Canadian mafia, essentially. Like, they made so much money during Prohibition that basically they taught Hoover how to set people up. They taught Hoover how to have a guy take a prostitute, meet him in a hotel room. They filmed the whole thing.
Do some Saul Goodman.
Like, Epstein's connected with the Bronfman family.
Epstein,
and, two of the Bronfman family members were in NXIVM and were funding NXIVM. So this has been going on for so long, discrediting people through the media, the mainstream media.
Yeah.
You're getting all these, it's a script they read off of. Now Grusch, he's still getting, I'm sure, tons and tons of threats. Maybe not as much as he was up until this point.
Maybe that's why
it's
this
on public
seems
record.
like even more monumental to me, right? So it's a leading indicator. Like, if we can get the UFO topic to start getting traction, and what I mean is, I wholeheartedly believe there's been a cover-up effort forever, as long as we know. Yes, there's weird stuff going. We're just not good at admitting it, And there's a reason why. It's
There's
a big game.
collateral damage, a lot of
going
collateral
on.
damage. They can't admit it.
But if we can start to admit this, and we've been talking about a lot lately in the area of psychedelics, that's starting to get into the movement. And if we can, it just seems like the whole swing of the entire world.
It's a paradigm shift right now.
Everything is going to this other version where I was like, I never thought I'd hear people talk about UFOs. I never thought I would see psychedelics being used as therapeutics
Right.
now. I never thought I would.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Watershed.
It's
buddy.
really wild. Yeah. And it's not stopping. So, like, every time I think I'm okay with it and I'm like dealing with, like, wow, we might be talking about UFOs. Like, oh, that's crazy.
Dude.
Then the next thing happens.
There's grandmothers at home curling up with their Afghan.
Jesus.
Watching UFO congressional hearings.
Rooting like the Truman Show.
Probably people that have fought with their family members about existence of UFOs and have argued at Christmas. And
there's a lot of I told you so moments.
And
going on right now.
And I really have tried not to be that guy.
I don't
like being
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah.
But there's a few folks that I could definitely would love to have that moment with them. But,
you'd just like them to know, or you just want to be acknowledged.
Yeah, it doesn't.
If I'm wrong, I'd love to tell you I'm wrong.
Yeah.
That's great. That's fine by me. I'm okay being wrong. I know I'm going to be wrong. Everybody's going to be wrong.
I've
If you
always
don't think
believed
you're wrong, you're the problem.
Extraterrestrial,
We're all going to be wrong.
UFOs more than Sasquatch, more than cryptids. It's always, to me, I've always been a pretty firm believer. Just from everything I've learned over when I was a kid, even.
I don't think there was ever a point where I didn't consider UFOs to be real.
No.
Ever.
No.
In my life.
No. I used to read about all of the different, the back in the 90s when there was all the abductions and the crop circles and cattle mutilations. And you hear all those stories and it's like, maybe those were government run. Maybe they weren't. Maybe it was, there's
who knows?
Talk about the Greys actually being, these
partnership,
like this
like
half engineered drones where, when they get hurt,
What was
there's like
I will leave that
biological skin on the outside,
leave
but
that
they're
story.
robots on the inside.
I was about to say I'm almost like getting into an anecdote of a story. I almost started going down it.
We're going off
We gotta leave
the
that.
Nancy Holla. What's
on.
up? What's up, friend?
gotta
Yeah,
leave
let's
that.
hit that left clip. That next clip. We're taking a
In
left
your
turn.
sworn testimony, you state that the United States government has retrieved supposedly extraterrestrial spacecraft and other UAP-related artifacts. You go so far as to state that the U.S. is in possession of, quote, non-human spacecraft, end quote, and that some of these artifacts have circulated with defense contractors. Several other former military and intelligence officials have come forward with similar allegations, albeit in non-public settings. However, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, the director of AARO, previously testified before Congress that there has been, and I quote, no credible evidence thus far of extraterrestrial activity or of, quote, off-world technology brought to the attention of the office. To your knowledge, is that statement correct?
It's not accurate. I believe Dr. Kirkpatrick mentioned he had about 30 individuals that have come to Aaro thus far. A few of those individuals have also come to Aaro that I also interviewed,
Okay.
and I know what they provided Dr. Kirkpatrick and their team.
Okay.
I was able to evaluate
Okay,
that information.
I need to go on.
Sure.
But my understanding that his statement is accurate, came from a direct quote. And this contradiction is a perfect example of why we need to inject transparency into our government. And for another example, look no further than the pitiful response to the Chinese spy balloon debacle earlier this year. You may remember the mass confusion that ensued when the balloon was first spotted over Montana, 4 days after it first entered U.S. airspace over Alaska. The Biden administration's initial inability to address the object grew into a continuous series of embarrassments. After news of the balloon reached the mainstream media, we were assured that the balloon posed no threat to our security. However, after the balloon was allowed to transit the entire continental United States, fighter jets were scrambled off the coast of South Carolina to shoot it down. This flip-flopping and obfuscation caused needless confusion, fear, and panic across the country. It's my hope, Mr. Chairman, that this sort of confusion will not be repeated. We should investigate the extent to which elements of our government possess or do not possess information that is of critical value to the American people. We owe it to the citizens of this nation to make sure that our government is transparent and accountable.
Thanks, Stoner. Ms. Fox, we salute you. She's just like, hey, I don't care. This is what needs to happen. This is where we got to go. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we need these Congress folks are very fired up. Like, they want their time in the sun. They've been left in the dark, dude. They've been pushed away. Oh, we're not allowed to see these classified documents. We're not allowed in the skiffs. Well, it's time for us to know what's going on. And a lot of it's political banter. And, of course, you got to be theatrical. You know, the elections are coming up. So are some of these folks we talked about, Marco Rubio, what's his real intentions?
Is there an angle?
It's political.
Yeah.
Is it, hey, we're going to get all these weirdo UFO people to come out and vote for Marco Rubio, you know, this fall or whatever.
Right.
Like, not this weirdo UFO guy, but.
I mean, I'm reading the last comment from the UFO chick about it being an embarrassment and the whole, you know, the UFO, the balloons and
it's a huge
here's the thing. What the hell were all of them
around the Super Bowl?
No, but what were they?
Well, one
was a balloon, and then one's this, and one's that. We don't even know what they all were.
The one off Lake Huron was like an octagon.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't just a balloon.
That was not a balloon.
So we had these balloons, and then it was like, is that just a nice like we need to leave that balloon up because there's actual UFOs up there?
That was
and like
part of the disinformation campaign that we called.
Muddied the water.
We called. This is some disinformation campaign. You can go back to Strange Happenings. We talked about this.
With the
it's like,
balloons.
oh, it's cool. They're like saying the word UAP on TV, but whatever. Yeah, they're calling them UAPs, but a weather balloon's a UAP, and alien craft. Well, the Aaro guy says there are no alien crafts, that these UAPs aren't extraterrestrial. That's what they just said before. And so it's muddying these sightings with, it's layering bullshit.
You're talking about Kirkpatrick?
Yeah, they're layering bullshit upon bullshit.
That's like,
and layering truth with bullshit.
But you've got all these institutions.
It's a sleight of hand trick.
You've got all these institutions and organizations that have said for a long time, like you got SETI, NASA.
What's SETI found?
Jack shit. I'm sorry to say, I don't think they found it. Like, again, like
they did find a really strange frequency.
I don't want to be crucial of them because I had hope, and I still have hope that all those organizations were started for the right reasons, to find, extraterrestrial life. I'm
was
just saying,
founded to be an arm of disinformation.
I'm not saying AARO. I'm saying like SETI. I'm saying like all these other groups, NASA, whatever, that are like, NASA's like, we don't know that there's any UFOs or aliens. Bullshit. Gary McKinnon was in there. He found all the files.
Right.
You guys airbrushed them out of there. You digitized them. Mm-hmm. He found them. So what I'm saying is, I think at this point, any organization or forward-facing group that has been to the public of like, well, we don't see any UFOs or aliens from, AARO or from Kirkpatrick or from SETI or from, if they're like in on it on the take and they've got to like toe the line of like, hey guys, we can't talk about this yet.
Yep.
Now, if the whistle's blowing and like it's literally the ground is pulling out from underneath them, now you got all these groups where it's like maybe they really are just going to have to turn around and be like, yep, we've been just bullshitting you for all this time. We had to lie to you.
Yeah, we admit we're filthy liars.
I can't believe that we're just getting at this point of discovery.
It still hasn't hit me. It really has. I don't think it's hit 90% of America that
they're letting it happen in waves too. They're letting it happen in waves because if they really just said right now, yep, it's real. Hey, let's welcome them.
Yeah.
And they're here. Let's just let them start coming out and being open about it.
Right. Exactly.
Like I said, I don't think that's far off.
Absolutely.
But you can't do that to most people and just say, here's the whole matzo ball at once.
Yep.
Like you got to boil the frog slowly.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, hey, Burton's in here. Burton,
welcome.
Hello. What's up, buddy? Everybody go check out Burton from Local Legends, YouTube channel, podcast. And also, if you're not already following Necromechanimal, go check out all the dope art he does for tons of podcasts. And his own unique art that he's doing is fantastic. I mean, the guy's prolific. What does he do, like 5-6 posts a day sometimes?
Necro?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's
unreal. I can't keep up.
He does a lot.
I try to like everything. It's hard. But go check those guys out. Welcome, fellas.
Welcome to the chat.
Yeah, and that UFO chick, follow her. Bub says she's a great follow on Twitter.
She's great. She's great.
If you got anything else, that UFO chick, if there's any other channels you have that you pop that in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Check that out.
Absolutely.
But let's pull up that next one here. Let's keep this moving.
Keep the shots coming.
Can you give me the names and titles of the people with direct firsthand knowledge and access to some of these crash retrieval programs, and maybe which facilities, military bases the recovered material would be in? And I know a lot of Congress talked about we're going to go to Area 51, and and there's nothing there anymore anyway. It's just and we move like a glacier. And as soon as we announce it, I'm sure the moving vans would pull up. But please.
Jeez.
I can't discuss that publicly, but I did provide that information both to the Intel committees and the Inspector General.
And we could get that in the SCIF if we were allowed to get in a SCIF with you. Would that be probably what you would think?
Sure, if you had the appropriate accesses, yeah.
What special access programs cover this information, and how is it possible that they have evaded oversight for so long?
I do know the names. Once again, I can't discuss that publicly and how they've evaded oversight. In a closed setting, I can tell you the specific tradecraft used.
All right. When do you think those programs began, and who authorized them?
I do know a lot of that information, but that's something I can't discuss publicly because of
All right.
sensitivities.
If any of y'all want to jump in on any of this, you're more than welcome to. What level of security clearance is required to fully access these programs?
Well, anybody who has...
And I say that because myself, Representative Gates and Representative Luna were basically turned away at one point at Eglin. So please go right ahead.
Certainly difference between member access and, say, somebody like me, but anybody who has a TSSCI clearance and meets the eligibility criteria, the access adjudicative authority should be able to grant you access.
Mr. Burchett, if you'll yield, so just to put a fine point on that, there's nothing that you're aware of that's above special access program classification.
It's a misnomer that there's anything actually above top secret. Executive
you
Order
know of.
13526 delineates the classification levels.
Right, but I draw a point on that because we can have access to those programs, and so the notion that we're not being given that access sort of defies our typical muscle memory here in Congress. Thank you, Mr. Burchett. I'll yield back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Gates. Along those lines, Title 10, you may not know this or
Let's
not,
hit
but
pause on
Title
that for a
10 and
second,
Title
Stone.
50 authorized.
So, are there levels above top secret? This has been one of the burning questions in the Reddit world, in the UFO conspiracy
I'm more confused
world,
now than ever.
because, if you want to look into like above majestic, that's a term that people, the Majestic 12, these are the programs that are above top secret. So you hear these conspiracies about the Majestic 12, and that's like the real UFO programs that are going on, that are these black op where all these billions are getting funneled into, probably.
But is that secret clearance?
It's like a specific UFO extraterrestrial. It's Men in Black shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Above
No, but
Majestic-
there's no like clearance you can get.
It's not on the books.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so when they're
Yeah.
asking Grusch, is there a level
Not
above this?
technically.
Well, off the books. there
Off
is.
the record,
Yeah.
who knows what kind of programs there are. There has to be something above top secret. I mean, there's stuff that Grusch doesn't know about, dude. There's stuff that's he's like at the tip of the spear, but there's levels to this stuff. You think he knows about the deep underground bases? All those things are a part of these above top secret programs, supposedly, allegedly. Will that stuff ever come out? Probably not.
I just feel like, okay. How do I put this? As much as things feel like they're being revealed, it still feels like it's moving away further, like I'll never understand. Mm-hmm. As much as we get more information, like what you're saying is like, there's probably is, and it's off.
The more information you get, the more you realize you don't know.
Shifting and changing point of view to where I'm like,
Yeah.
I thought it was just like get aliens, but then it might be beyond that into like, how does all this get directed? Like, how's it all getting set up? Like, and who the hell is setting up all
They're
these?
winging it. They're winging it right here. You're watching our government just fucking wing it. They're just winging it. They really don't know what
They're
to
winging
do.
it, but I'm saying the people that are doing
Grusch is kind of winging it. This has never been done. There's no roadmap for this shit.
I get that. I get on that point. I'm saying the planners, the people that are doing the programs, the black.
Yeah.
Where does all that come from? Where is all that esoteric Bohemian Grove type shit come from? Like, where? How? Like,
do you want another hour episode?
How does it like? I'm just blown. Like, my mind is blown more on that thought.
I mean, it's easy. It's easier than you think to compartmentalize these programs. I'll say that.
That's a fair point.
It's through like Skull and Bones, through Yale. It's the Bohemian Grove. It's the Bilderberg Group. These are behind closed doors meetings that happen. This shit's real. Davos and the the Trilateral Commission, the Council on Foreign Relations. These groups are unelected officials that literally they can go anywhere in the world and do business anywhere in the world, and these bankers can go anywhere and start anything they want.
Yeah.
They can fund anything. This is outside the realm of the U.S. government.
To that point, like she said that too as well, the UFO chick. So it's put into private industry and siphoned off money so that it's free from FOIA, right? So it is the whole thing of like, well, if we keep it in government, then this can get found out some way. So if we can offload this to you, Raytheon or Lockheed or whoever, we'll give you this and we'll funnel this money, then nobody will know about it. Like, we can kind of keep this off the books, but if it's in our back pocket, we're going to have to talk about it.
Like she said, it's not the government. What Grusch is talking about is in the government, there's nothing above top secret, but there's all these other programs that are really, it's the deep state. Yeah, you want to talk about, well, the deep state, that's a QAnon conspiracy. The deep state term has been along well before QAnon, guys. Yeah. That a lot of these terms, they use Q and all that shit to just basically to, make people look like they're wacko conspiracy theorists, and they throw these terms
somebody
around.
A conspiracy theorist. It's the same with why I think now we call them UAPs instead of UFOs. If we're really going to acknowledge them right now, nobody wants to go forward and call them UFOs. They're not calling them UFOs in all the hearings. They're calling them UAPs, and we translate that to mean UFOs. Right? Everybody does that. I have to still do that. Like a UAP, what does it mean? Oh, that's a UFO. But we know it as a UFO. We just don't want to use that slant because we were using that slant against people for years to say they were kooks and they saw a flying saucer. Oh, you really saw it?
It's the government. So it's the official government term for
It's giving legitimacy back to it.
It is. Yeah.
And it's saying we can talk about it now, and it's an okay term, but it wasn't for decades and decades before. You were all just crazy people. And it's, I guess we should be happy. But it's one of those things that you fight against it for so long, and then when you feel the ground shift, it still makes you feel like uneasy about it. You're like, what the hell? Like, I should be happy, I guess they're saying UAPs, and at least they're talking about it, but it irritates me that they have to first slander people and ruin their lives over, oh, you're a conspiracy theory. Like,
it's a way to discredit
the
deep state.
I'll trust the science, but I want to run the scientific experiment you're running to trust it. Yeah. I want to do the same scientific experiment. If I can do that, I'll trust your science.
The deep state is real.
Yes.
If you want, that's a horrible term. That term's been ruined. Let's rebrand that because
let's rebrand it to
the bullshit.
There are a lot of people that want to screw you over for the rest of your life, and we don't want to get screwed over our whole lives, and so we want jetpacks and free energy and UFOs and. We don't want the deep
jetpacks and UFOs for all y'all.
Yeah. I said that to Mike. I was like earlier, I was like, is that what's going to happen if all this disclosure really comes out? Like it's just jetpacks and UFOs for everybody. And he was like, no.
Well, like I think we talked about this with Daryl, our guest. It's who knows when that's going to come out. But Daryl talked about people don't understand that the free energy thing, like if there is this technology where you don't have this jet propulsion, you don't need jet fuel or gasoline to move something, that you have this technology that doesn't need fossil fuels. Guess what? You start putting that on ships, you start putting those on semis, taking goods. The lifeblood of capitalistic society in the world is petroleum. Oil is what makes, it's literally the blood that pumps through and makes all the money. It makes all the commerce.
Yep.
Without oil, and the dollar is attached to the oil, the dollar is, it's called the petrodollar because it's the world reserve currency.
Yep.
So if you want to buy oil from Saudi Arabia, you have to buy it in dollars. You have to use our currency. Guess who's getting away from that? Russia,
everybody.
China, India. Guess who was trying to get away from it? Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Egypt.
Yep.
Basically all the dictators that we took out.
Yeah.
They were all trying to get off the IMF and the world banking system. This fiat currency bullshit based on oil, based on the world reserve currency. So, like Daryl was talking about, if you have that technology, guess what? All of that goes away. Now you could become who you're supposed to become. You could get on a path. You don't have to get in the rat race every single day. That system is gone.
That'd be nice.
It literally would change the world completely from top to bottom. Everybody could, focus on what it is that we're meant to actually do in this life. Not sit in a cubicle and, nothing against anybody that does any of that kind of work, but...
Yeah, but we all know the person that has the actual job from office space that they hate and they just want to tear down the walls of their cubicle and not show up to work. I've said,
you being a nurse, like a lot of this...
Didn't want to do it anymore.
Medical technology.
Did not want to do it anymore.
You have this kind of technology.
Yeah.
Think about medical technology that would come out of all this.
Cure all kinds of diseases, I'm sure.
Well, they know the vibrational frequency technology that they have that cures cancer. They have that type of once you start reverse engineering this stuff, it just opens up.
Yeah, Necro's on it. Central or CBDC, central backed.
Don't get me
currency.
started on that shit.
Did you see this new WorldCoin thing? I know it's not part of the Strange Happenings, but have you seen that WorldCoin that's launching?
Yeah.
You just walk up, and I don't know if you get free money from it. I don't know. Anything that's free, any service or product that's free, you're the product.
You're the product.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Any application used
100%.
for free, you are the product. Big data wants you. Anyways, do we have more from the hearing?
Well,
we wanna cover?
that's an 8-minute piece, so we can just roll
Do we wanna
through.
jump back in, or are we gonna go
the
to the
last
next
few
one?
here are. Let's
Go for it. Let's
keep
hear it.
going. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's keep going.
At one point, you had said that there has been harmful activity or aggressive activity. Has any of the activity been aggressive, been hostile in your reports?
I know of multiple colleagues of mine that got physically injured. And the activity, and I got
by UAPs or by people within the federal government?
Both.
Okay, so there has been activity by alien or non-human technology and or beings that has caused harm to humans.
I can't get into the specifics in an open environment, but at least the activity that I personally witnessed, and I have to be very careful here because they tell you never to acknowledge tradecraft, right? So what I personally witnessed, myself and my wife, was very disturbing.
Cheers, voice change.
Okay. One of my constituents actually sent this next question, and I figured I'd ask it since I had the same thought. You've said that the U.S. has intact spacecraft. You said that the government has alien bodies or alien species. Have you seen the spacecraft?
I have to be careful to describe what I've seen firsthand and not in this environment, but I could answer that question behind closed doors. Yeah.
And have you seen any of the bodies?
That's something I've not witnessed myself.
Okay, and so with that being said, and the other statement that has been made that was intriguing to me it's intriguing because my view has been that we are billions of light years away from any other system. And the concept that an alien species that's technologically advanced enough to travel billions of light years gets here and somehow is incompetent enough to not survive Earth or crashes is something that I find a little bit far-fetched. And with that being said, you have mentioned that there's interdimensional potential. Could you expound on that?
Yeah, to answer your first question, and I'm here as a fact witness and expert, but I will give you a theoretical framework, at least to work off, to kind of espouse crashes, regardless of your level of sentience, right? Planes crash, cars crash, n number of sorties, however high, a small percentage are going to end in mission failure, if you will, as we say in the Air Force. And then in terms of multidimensionality, that kind of thing, the framework that I'm familiar with, for example, is something called the holographic principle. It derives itself from general relativity and quantum mechanics, and that is, if you want to imagine a 3D object such as yourself casting a shadow onto a 2D surface, that's the holographic principle. So you can be projected, quasi-projected from higher dimensional space to lower dimensional. It's a scientific trope that you can actually cross, literally, as far as I understand, but there's probably guys with PhDs that we could probably argue about that.
But you have not seen any documentation that that's what's occurring?
Only a theoretical framework discussion, yes.
Okay. Okay.
I think
Occam's razor.
I think that's it. I think that was it. Yeah, that's the part that I wanted. Dude, who did we just talk about this with? We're in 3 dimensions.
I think
There's 2-dimensional, let's say we're living in this 3D space. We can affect 2D space in a certain ways. I don't remember. Gosh.
I told you we've been having a lot of conversations that have been they've been
weird.
Orbiting around the same topic somehow.
Yeah. And so we were talking about higher dimensional beings. Was it Tobias? Yeah.
No, it was.
Tobias Wayland.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It's about the Mothman and all that, and we were talking about super dimensions and super spectrum and
he had a great breakdown, guys. We'll we'll kind of remind everybody when that episode comes out. But what Grusch just said is what Tobias kind of explained to us with these higher dimensional beings and how they come into our dimension. Just as we can manipulate 2D space, and we can affect them without that two-dimensional being or really understanding. Like, they can't even really see us because we're in just that different plane. Yeah. But you can pop in and out of these.
Well, he also said it's like we really can't do anything about it. The dimension we're coming from, they are coming from that next dimension. So they are the three-dimensional being looking at the shadow. He used it as like if you were like this amoeba or something on the ground, where like you were this two-dimensional creature that you could look up, but like you can't perceive 3 dimensions, but you could see. Right. So literally, like, we could just pop in and out of its existence from time to time, and it wouldn't even know how we were doing it.
Right.
But we're always there. We're always there. We just don't inhabit their dimensions.
Right. But they're coming
that they can
in
be aware
and out.
of.
That's why you see these things just blip out.
Yeah.
They just disappear. And, you know, the Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch, some people think that shows a total setup. It's a plant. It's not real. But Brandon Fogel, you've been following him on Twitter quite a bit. He seems like a legit dude.
I follow him on Twitter,
Seems like, you know, I've heard interviews with Brandon Fogel, and he said the one thing I really wanted to make sure that this was not going to be some kind of scripted bullshit show. Yeah. And I wasn't going to work with History Channel if that's what they had in mind.
Love to get out
there. The last season of Skinwalker Ranch is pretty freaking wild.
I haven't seen it.
There's a roundtable meeting at Brandon Fogel's corporate headquarters at the end. Guess who's sitting at the table? Old George Knapp.
God damn, George.
Because George was at the head of the
love
spear.
George.
Bro, he's my spirit bro.
George has a look about him like he is battle-tested, ready to go, doesn't matter.
Doesn't play games.
Doesn't matter what's going on. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
He just has that stone-cold look ahead of like, I'm ready.
But basically, they're proving, what I think, they are proving the existence of portals on what they're documenting out at Skinwalker Ranch. Like, scientifically, they have data that there's this giant portal above this triangular area, above the ranch in this specific area. And then there's an ancient spiral site that who knows how old, made by these boulders. Yeah. And these spirals are all over the place. Yeah. And this Native American elder, this Navajo, is basically saying like, hey, this is to push the energy away from the cursed land over here. Mm. The cursed land, maybe a curse in ancient times was really just technology that they didn't understand. Maybe there was this higher dimensional technology that is inside the earth. It's above the land of Skinwalker Ranch. It's under the ground. They're getting all these readings from in the ground and a mile up into the air at a specific point. When they shine lasers up at this thing, it splits the laser into Y. There's nothing up there. You can't see it. They launched a rocket right at this spot a mile up. You know, former NASA engineer, the guy that's kind of always on History, rocket expert. This rocket goes, psh, and then just goes zoom. And he's like, that rocket, there's no wind. There's no reason why that rocket should have spit, you know, in this easterly direction.
Burton wants your shirt.
Oh, don't worry, Burton. We did mention a little bit earlier. I know you were probably coming home from work, but these are the proofs for the merch portal. We got a bunch of shirts in. We're testing them out.
Doing some research and development.
Yeah, some feedback, but it's all coming real soon. But don't you worry, Burton. We're going to take care of you, buddy.
I have a question here. There we go, at that UFO check. This laser-induced plasma filaments, LIPF stuff, right? The tech. Is this kind of like... Again, would this be back to the blue beam stuff of like we're going to project these UFOs in the sky, like make you think you're seeing this kind of stuff? Is that what? Don't you remember that when like people were seeing like cities in the sky? No, the mirage stuff, not that.
Yeah.
I'm saying the really weird things when people are like almost like shared hallucinations where they're like, that doesn't make any sense of what we saw. It wasn't a UFO, but that LIPF or whatever that is, that's what makes me think of that. Mm-hmm. But with Grusch, with the testimony coming out in the congressional hearings, with it's like, can you even? They want so much information that he can't give them yet.
I know.
They can get in that. This is going to be a beaten word after this, but skiff,
the old skiff. Which a skiff is a little boat. That's the confusing thing. Is a skiff is a little boat that you take from a larger boat to land.
Yeah.
So when you drop your anchor, you hop in a skiff to get to shore.
I'm just thinking I want like a shirt that's like Skiffy.
Get me in the skiff.
Skiffy peanut butter, full disclosure.
We need a skiff t-shirt.
Full disclosure, Skiffy.
Get Bub in the skiff.
Skiffy peanut butter.
All right. I think that clip was done, Stone. I think we can move on to the next one. And this is kind of a longer one too, and then we'll kind of
If you
wrap it up.
believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, Biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
And was this documentary evidence, this video, photos, eyewitness? Like, how would that be determined?
The specific documentation I would have to talk to you in a skiff about.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and you may or may not be able to answer my last question, and maybe we get into a skiff at the next hearing that we have, but who in the government, either what agency, sub-agency, what contractors, who should be called into the next hearing about UAPs, either in a public setting or even in a private setting? And you probably can't name names, but what agencies or organizations, contractors, et cetera, do we need to call in to get these questions answered, whether it's about funding, what programs are happening, and what's out there?
I can give you a specific cooperative and hostile witness list of specific individuals that were in those.
And how soon can we get that list?
I'm happy to provide that to you after the hearing.
Super. Thank you. And I yield back.
That's it. Yeah, dude. Did you just catch that?
A little bit. I honestly, my ADD, I zone out sometimes, and I'm reading the chat, and I'm listening to that, and I'm thinking about what Kyle and Disbro are doing back in Master Control, and I'm dreaming of food still because I'm hungry still, and all of this is churning my brain. I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm going to be honest. And look, see, they're back there. They're hard at work.
Yeah.
And what I'm hearing from that, though, is... Yeah.
I'm doing stuff. Look at me. My arms are moving.
Kyle just put away the remote control truck. Like, put that down. But no, so she's getting the receipts. She's ready to go get the names after this. It sounds like...
Well, I'm going to give you the hostiles and the people that are cooperating. You're getting the names
I'm saying.
of all the people that have been attacking me.
He's going to show them the
who they
chessboard.
work for,
Yeah.
who are their superiors, potentially, and all the people that you need to talk to that are like me that are going to tell you even crazier shit than I'm going to tell you. You want the people that know where the bodies are? I got those names. I haven't seen the bodies, but I got old boy back here that has. He wants to talk to you. That's what that was.
I'll say this much too. Grusch has a high enough awareness level now that if it would have just stayed on News Nation, if it wouldn't have got to a congressional hearing, if it didn't start generating all this buzz, maybe he does get,
little slippy.
driven off the freeway somewhere,
plane crashy,
thrown over the edge of the yacht at Club Med. Who knows? Maybe that's what happens. But now he's got enough clout and awareness. That's why they never killed Lazar.
Yeah,
they just tried to make him look crazier.
Well, because you went public. You have to be public. Like people always say, why haven't they killed Alex Jones or why haven't they killed David Icke? Because they've been talking for 25 years. And you'll make them a martyr.
Yeah,
it's the people that don't speak their truth, like Daryl was talking about, man. That really resonated with me is we can't sit quiet anymore.
You got to speak up.
None of us can.
Yeah.
If you know something, I mean, I don't know shit, but, I want to speak as much truth as I can to, call it if I see it, if I have a strong feeling about it, but I'm not in the inside of these special operations programs, know. Would I be totally terrified to come out? Of course, who wouldn't? Grusch. Like I said before, Grusch has got some cojones, sir.
Man, I'm telling you, I don't know. I think the biggest thing to deal with it, probably for him too, or anybody, would be like, you as the person can stomach it. Like, I want to tell, but like if it starts affecting your family, your loved ones,
and you still are getting after it. He's still getting after it.
I mean, that's where it's like you got to have some serious scrote about you and conviction. But also, I think one of the most important things I've seen too was there's a lot of intelligent people A lot of intelligent people. There's not a lot of really courageous people.
Right.
That's in short effing
Sure,
order.
I think these days for sure.
Right? So you can be really smart and you can,
You don't
like
have
Daryl's
a
saying, you
Kennedy
can be really smart
or
and
Martin
just
Luther King
not
Jr.
say anything.
Well, here's the thing.
You
Guess
can
what?
have that information and not
The
speak
people that
truth.
did speak, Kennedy,
Right.
Martin Luther King
Right.
Jr., Malcolm X,
Right.
Robert F. Kennedy,
Right. What happened to all of them?
all dead, all murdered,
Right.
in a conspiracy that was later admitted by the Senate hearings that all of those cases were more than likely a conspiracy.
Right.
I mean,
It didn't just happen.
no.
Right. So I think that's enough proof in the pudding for me. But that's what I'm saying too. Like it rings, and again, it just dovetails back into what Daryl's saying too. That whole, you can't. Again, that like silence is not golden in that respect. Like it becomes this toxic. Like if you can't speak up about it, like you're not doing anything. You're kind of complicit in the problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. But it is one of those of like, and I think that was one of the things was, that's what it was. It was something about censorship and whatever with social media. And I think it was towards Zuckerberg. And I kind of felt bad for him because, yeah, the guy's fairly smart. He's got a good, business model. This can't deny it, right? But he did not have the backbone. He didn't have the
To say no.
to fight off,
Now,
to
he,
say, no,
he
I don't
did
want
have the backbone, however, on JRE.
He did come out and talk about it.
And talked about it and said
Right.
that
Now that's
the Biden administration told us and put pressure on us to to not run certain stories, that
Yeah.
it was Russian disinformation.
Yeah.
He admittedly said the U.S. government came to us and said that you need to stop these posts because of this, this, and this.
Yeah.
That's censoring.
Yeah.
You didn't.
But that's what
you
I'm
didn't
saying.
have
So
the facts
in the
straight.
same sense of that crap, we can't do it with social media. We can't do it with ufology. We can't do it with medicine. We can't do it with anything.
No.
When you
They don't
obfuscate
want the
things,
information
then
to
we
get
start
out.
getting people that don't understand up from down, left from
No.
right, like
They
good
just
from
want to
bad,
build
right from wrong.
barriers. You're black, you're white, you're gay, you're straight, you're this, you're that. We are separate. You
Yeah.
guys are this. You're a man. You're a woman. We're all completely separate.
No, we're all
and
in a
we're
very
we're dividing all these
similar
lines.
arena of life.
We're dividing these
Micro
lines.
divisions.
And it's just becoming unbelievably. You can't manage it as a society. Like, we have to come together. Maybe that's what this is about.
Yeah.
This whole thing is some kind of weird watershed moment for us to all actually come together. Put all this other bullshit aside. All of our differences.
That
The
just about blew
aliens
my
are
mind.
inadvertently bringing us all together. Watch what happens.
I'm for it. I'm all for it.
Because, like I
so.
said, we can
Let's
all
have it
get
happen.
we can all get behind this, regardless of what you think politically or believe in, or your background or anything. We can all get behind this. That's fucking cool, dude.
Yeah.
Like, really, really cool.
Yeah. Well, that's why I think there's a lot of hope surrounding like what's going on with this information right now. Because again, like to me, it doesn't just indicate.
Look how messed up my hair is.
I know. To me, it doesn't just indicate one thing. It doesn't just talk about UFOs and UAPs and that area of life. To me, this is a much bigger thing that if we can get past one of these massive hurdles.
Yeah. This is a big one,
of
dude.
human
We've
history.
been waiting for this since I was 6 years old. Since I learned about what an alien was.
I just thought I would be forever disappointed in life and nothing like this was ever going to happen. And we were just going to have to watch movies where we just theorized of what it would be like when this would happen.
Right. We're going to watch what? The Explorers again. We're going to watch E.T. one more time and just, Flight of the Navigator and just hope.
I want to know. We all want to know. We just want some answers. Tired of theorizing, tired of speculating,
Oh God, the speculating.
And hopefully
speculation's been killing me.
Hopefully it's, far more boring than we think it is. Truth is usually stranger than fiction.
It's not going to be boring.
So I think we're in for a doozy when we do finally get to the end of the lollipop of this Tootsie Pop. A lot of damn licks to get to the center of this UFO mystery. We still haven't gotten through the shell. The owl is laughing at us.
Yep. 1, 2, 3.
We're not getting anywhere.
Well, I think we got one more, Stone, if I'm not mistaken. We can start wrapping this up, but I think this one puts the...
Mr. Grusch, I might have asked this before, but I want to make sure. Do you have any personal knowledge of someone who's possibly been injured working on legacy UAP reverse engineering?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. How were they injured? Is it something like a radioactive type situation or something we didn't understand? I've heard people talk about Havana syndrome type incidences. What was your recollection of that?
I can't get into specifics, but you can imagine assessing an unknown unknown. There's a lot of potentialities you can't fully prepare for.
How do you think we ought to handle UAP whistleblower complaints like yours in the future?
Yeah, there was some issue with mine. So, PPD-19 process, it goes to the Intel committees, either through PPD-19 or ICD-120. There's not a good way for the Intelligence Community Inspector General to provide that to other committees. And I asked my information to be sent to the House and Senate Armed Services Committee because there are Title X equities at play, but there was no smooth process to do so. Yeah.
It's a trash can. Are you aware of any individuals that are participating in reverse engineering programs for non-terrestrial craft?
Personally, yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's pointed.
Yeah.
Do you know any that would be willing to testify if there were protections for them?
Certainly closed door and assurances that breaking their NDA, they're not going to get administratively punished for so. Yeah.
I yield, Mr. Chairman.
And I think that's it.
Thank you. I'm going to do
Thanks,
something.
Stoner. And Necro, I totally agree. I think we got a little carried away. Speculation is fun.
It's fun.
It is fun.
It's fun. I'm
but
sorry.
How long we've been speculating is just. I would like to have. Now we can speculate on more fun things: jetpacks, free energy. Like
I guess
that's
yes,
a different level. Now that we that's
the next level speculation of again. When
it's more fun.
I used to think this like, hey, in the future, I don't want to invite you over to my house. I want to invite you over to my planet. Like when you come to my house, like you just come to my whole planet. And we have jetpacks and you can just explore around it. And
but our planet's like one of those hoarders. You walk into their house, it smells like frickin' rat piss and cat piss.
No.
That's our planet right now. 95% of all the blue tuna's gone. We got a garbage
You're
pass.
talking about here.
Yeah, we're a hoarder's house. Like what? We're going to invite them to our planet. Hey, come. Our magical planet has literally turned into a cat piss soaked hoarding house.
Yeah, we've got some garbage we need to clean up.
Yeah, we got to get it cleaned up. Get that lady from, from hoarders to start cleaning house.
Jeez.
But
yeah, that's where I like to speculate further. Is like, yeah, we have jetpacks, we have UFOs. I've got my own planet. I can just sit there and chill, and like everybody can have whatever they want and go exist in the galaxy and whatever. Who knows? Like. I don't even know how to dream that far because we're stuck dreaming here.
We're stuck at who are the next people that are coming out. Grusch is the first.
My dreams are getting stale.
What's
I want the
next?
next level of dreams.
More people inside the intelligence community. You're going to have whistleblowers within the military, those giant corporations that don't ever, they don't give away any of their secrets ever.
Stoner's dad. I thought the same thing in the 70s. Not much has changed.
Right, but is it changing now?
Who knows? Maybe it is. Maybe
it does seem like that, Stoner's dad. That things kind of just
we're feeling it.
You just
we're
keep
hoping.
going and going and going.
So Burton, I want alien flying abilities. Duh. Yes. Today, tomorrow, always. And you can see it now. Like the people that have the jetpacks, right? We have these jetpacks. They're not like
they're like water propelled and
no. The ones where the guys have like it's literally that goes on their arms. They have two jets. They have a backpack with a jet. Like they're using those for like rescue missions, like up mountains, boats, whatever. Like they have those, but I mean legit. But
they're
like
they're
eat a bunch of cheese before bed to increase your dreams. Necromechanical. I don't know. It might increase my dreams, but I'm not sure my wife would sleep very well. A lot of cheese.
Oh, man, you guys are great. The chat's on fire tonight, son.
Frida Heights.
This has been a good one, man. This has been a real good one. I don't think we're missing anything.
It has been a good one.
And by the way, that last clip there, that was Disbro added that last minute.
Very nice.
And it was funny because he
did add that.
I'll try to find it. And I clicked my mouse pointer and hit exactly where the point he was talking about. So we added that last minute. Thank you, Diz.
Stoner's dad loves cheese.
and craft beer.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cess in the City. You guys are
Thank you, everybody.
amazing.
For jumping in. And sorry if we got a little ranty here
I got
and there.
pretty
but
ranty.
I think, again, we haven't been in front of a live audience in a while. We've been doing these canned episodes, which has been fun.
Yeah.
But it's just a different vibe when you realize, like, we're talking to a guest, but we know nobody else is there. It's different having, you know, having y'all on the other end of it.
We can get weird with y'all.
It's hilarious. I had a great time. Felt good to be back.
Yep.
Thank you for everybody for stopping in and saying what's up as well.
Yeah. Thanks for
You
stopping in. Everybody go check out Local Legends, the UFO Chick.
Yes.
All the creators, Necro Mechanimal. Go check out their stuff. Support all these amazing creators that have been supporting the Strange Road. And and, you know, we try to do our part and support others as well.
Absolutely.
It's just trying to create community, spread the love, spread the positivity.
We're all here for the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we are. I think everybody else is too, you know, like, good God, man. Like,
Backyard TV, go check him out.
I know people can get an ego over stuff like this. Again, we're Wayne's World.
Yep.
We're doing a show that we like doing. We're covering stuff we like covering. We're not, you know, we're not at the top of a corporate building in the penthouse right now, like, you know, about to go have Mai Tais after this or something. Like,
no,
we're going to get to work on, like, how we can, you know, do the next episode and make it even better.
Oh, we'll
and,
walk out and there'll be a homeless guy in the back stoop. Remember that time we walked out at late night episode and the homeless guy was sitting on the back porch? The lady, I opened the door and went, ah!
You about had a heart
and
attack.
I said, holy shit, you scared the hell out of me. She said, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, geez, lady, I was not expecting you to be right. And you're on the top step.
God,
why didn't you hang out on the bottom step? I opened the door. You're right there. Scared the hell. And it was, I think it was a paranormal. It was the episode with Burton where he was telling us ghost stories.
You walked out.
And I was a little jumpy.
Dude, I laughed so hard.
Oh,
God,
man.
it was great.
That was good.
So good. Well, and now they installed security cams, so at least they'll be able to catch us, you know, having these funny ass moments when we walk out.
I want to watch that playback.
All right, that's it for me.
All right, guys. Jay Lamb, Born Not to Run, Local Legends, Backyard TV, Flutz, Cess in the City. You guys are the best. That UFO
Appreciate
check.
you all.
Necro, anybody else I'm missing, I apologize. But Born Not to Run, we are signing off. Oh, one more time. Heath Johnson's trying to get some awareness to his GoFundMe. He wants to travel to ancient sites all over Ohio and the U.S. He wants to start out at Serpent Mound. He's got a pretty serious kidney disease. He's going to have a transplant, but wants to get to these places and soak up that natural healing energy and see what it's all about. So Heath reached out. We've got his GoFundMe link in all of our social platforms. It's in our link tree. It's in the show notes of this show. It'll be all over the place. So you guys got a couple bucks to throw Heath. We're trying to spread the word, spread the love. You guys can
mystical trip set up.
Yes, absolutely. And we'll send them off at Serpent Mound and do it upright. But you guys can follow us. We're on all social media platforms. We're on all the podcast platforms. You're right here in YouTube. Share, like, subscribe, hit that notification.
And Monday, the premiere.
Monday, we are premiering the episode with Michael Strayer from Moth Boys. He's podcaster, author, children's author.
All right.
Super cool dude. Had some amazing stories of a cryptid in northern New York that we had never heard about. So stay tuned for that on Monday. It's going to be dropping all podcast platforms Monday at 1 a.m. And then we're doing our YouTube premiere 9 p.m. Monday night.
Monday night.
So be there, be square, come and hang out in the chat. Let's rock.
I like it.
Signing out.
Stoner and Disbro, thank you
Stoner
guys.
and Disbro, always. Let's get that master control shot one more time. Wave to the camera,
There we
Stoner.
go.
There he is. All right, guys.
Feverishly working back there.
Love. I'm hitting things.
I love it.
All right, signing off. Love, peace, and chicken grease, y'all.
Much appreciation, much love.
Mm-hmm.